Made on Zencastr.
Because Zencastr makes every stage of the podcast production and distribution processes so easy. All the details are in the description. Hello and welcome to Fit for My Age, the health and well-being podcast from Abeceda, on which we don't tell you what to think, but we do hope to make you think. I am Michael Millward. Today I am learning about relaxed saunas from Phillip Wilson, the president of the Relax Sauna company. Phillip is based in Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. This is not one of those cities that I have ever visited, but if I get the opportunity to go, I will make all of my travel arrangements with the Ultimate Travel Club, because as a member of the Ultimate Travel Club, I travel at trade prices on flights, hotels, holidays, all sorts of travel-related purchases. You will find a link with a built-in membership discount in the description so that you can become a member of the Ultimate Travel Club as well, and just like me, travel at trade prices. Now that I have paid some bills, it is time to make an episode of Fit for My Age that will be well worth listening to, liking, downloading and subscribing to, and hopefully worth sharing with your friends, family and work colleagues as well. Hello, Phillip.
Hi there, Michael.
You are the founder of the Relax Sauna company. So what's the history that led to you setting that business up?
Well, I had another business selling massage tools and cutting edge nutritional products like green powders, essential oils, Chinese herbs, Ayurvedic herbs, superfoods, selling massage tools, color therapy glasses. I was selling them to health food stores, and I had my own little health food store, and I was going around to big expos and demonstrating massage tools and massage sandals at conferences. And I did that for 20 years. After coming, strangely enough, to Las Vegas for a biological dentist conference where I was selling massage tools, the next day there was a spa show at the same hotel. So I went to it, and one of my massage tool suppliers had a portable sauna. You can have a sauna in your home? I couldn't believe it, because ever since I was 16, I loved saunas. Loved it. Just, I love the feeling of that sweat, and you feel so invigorated. And so I got one. A year later, I got a phone call from the people in Taiwan who make the Relax Sauna. They said over the phone, "You have a lot of information on your website promoting this other sauna. Let me tell you about the Relax Sauna. We spent 10 years developing the technology and discovered semiconductor chips. It's the only sauna to this day that uses computer technology to generate the exact frequency that our body needs." That, you know, it's like when you go out into the sun on a hot day or even on a cold day, but the sun is hot, you can have a winter coat on, and the sun is so hot and you close your eyes and you feel that deep penetrating warmth in your body. That's what the Relax Sauna is all about, creating that. You feel so tuned in, so grounded, so like you never want to leave kind of energy.
So when you talk about this deep penetrating warmth,
Yes.
is that a universal sort of everyone has the same point at which they achieve that relaxation from the penetrating warmth, or is every individual's level different?
It's different levels of awareness and perception, but I have said this many times to many different people, and everyone seems to have had at least one experience where they've been outside with the hot sun and they've closed their eyes and felt this incredible warmth within their body. That's what the Relax Sauna company has created. Their goal was to create a kind of energy, but it's all around the healing spas in southern Japan. When you go to Lourdes in France, there's a certain kind of energy where you feel good. It turns out that there's a preponderance of far infrared energy at these places. And so this company in Taiwan had a goal to create that kind of energy. And it turns out to be a special frequency of far infrared light. It's our special frequency, which happens to be far infrared light, and which happens to be the same frequency as the human body, the same frequency as water. That's the magical frequency. This is the magic of 7 to 14 micron. That's the wavelength. See, there's a book, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Detoxify or Die.
I haven't.
It's by Dr. Sherry Rogers. It came out in 2001, 2002. She was an environmental medical doctor. People with multi-chemical sensitivities and environmental concerns were left to dead by the medical establishment. And they came to her because she was using the wooden far infrared saunas. She called it the superior sauna, distinctly different than the Finnish saunas. The Finnish saunas, I'm sure you're aware of, they usually have hot rocks,
Yes.
and you put water on it, and it creates a lot of heat. And so the heat is on the outside, and then eventually your body has to find a way to cope, and it ends up sweating. That's a technology that's been around for many thousands of years, I presume.
Yes.
Every culture, the Amazon sweat lodges, the American Indian sweat lodges, the Grecian baths, the Russian, the Turkish, the Romans, they all had some way to heat the body, to raise the body temperature so that you could get into that relaxed mode and your body can then heal itself because it has its own innate ability to heal. Every culture has found a way that get you tuned in, that gets you relaxed, that get you in touch with who you are and what your purpose is.
Yes.
And what life is all about.
Definitely. And I've tried those traditional sort of saunas, which are the ones that people think of.
Yes.
And they can be very, very different. You can be in some places where you're thinking, this has only just been switched on. It's freezing cold in here. And others where they can be so uncomfortable because they've got too hot. That is the heat that is generated and it's external to your body. So you feel that cleansing of the profuse sweating. And then you have a shower afterwards to clean yourself up. But how is the infrared relax sauna different to that traditional sauna, that Finnish sauna that people will know about?
Well, in a sense, it is a night and day difference. Okay, all saunas are beneficial. Like there's many therapies, and some therapies are more therapeutic or more effective than others in getting the body to heal itself. It turns out that increasing body temperature is sort of like a goal. It's called hyperthermia. There's a hospital in Germany called St. George Hospital. What they do is find a way to raise your body temperature. And this is what Hippocrates talked about. He said, find me a way to create fever in the body, and I will then be able to cure any disease. In other words, that's like a panacea. It's detoxification. I mean, some people do fasting and have healed themselves of all sorts of diseases. Well, hyperthermia is one of the ways to do it. There's also a clinic in Colorado where they do bath fever therapy by putting you in a hot bath of 108 to 112 degrees and getting your body temperature up. Because if you look under PubMed.com, that when you increase the body temperature or get a fever, 4 or 5 main things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, you get the lymphatic system mobilized. 2, you increase the circulation, and that gets rid of inflammation and stagnant areas of the body where mold and bacteria can grow. 3, you flood your body with oxygen, and that kills the anaerobic bacteria. And the more you raise the body temperature, the more parasites you can kill. And that's why they want to raise the temperature at these hospitals and retreats to 104 or maybe 104 and a half, 105. But you don't want to raise the body much past 106, 107, because then the body dies, and that defeats the whole purpose of the therapy.
I should point out that when you're mentioning those temperatures, you're talking about Fahrenheit.
Yes, exactly.
And not centigrade.
If you want to do hyperthermia, you want to get the temperature to about 40 degrees centigrade. And now the relaxed sauna will probably get 38 degrees centigrade. Dr. Paul Anderson, who's a cancer doctor and teaches doctors at conferences, He said that using the Relax Sauna, he can get the body temperature up 101.5, 101.9, and that's pretty good. When this retreat in Colorado, after people go for 1 week or 2 weeks, they recommend they get a Relax Sauna afterwards because that'll get them halfway there to the temperature they needed to get the cleansing and the purification.
So this is really part of managing your health. You don't necessarily need to be ill in order to use a sauna, and many people will use them after going to the gym or swimming or any type of sport, or even just because they're in a hotel that has got saunas, so they'll use them. Most of the saunas that they use are the traditional Scandinavian type saunas, which means essentially that to use them, you can either go in with a wet body or a dry body. If you go into some places in Europe, you'll be going in without any clothes. In the UK, you're generally wearing swimming clothes or you're wrapped in a towel. What is the process for using a relax sauna, an infrared sauna? Is it similar? What does an infrared sauna, relax sauna look like to begin with?
There's a number of different kinds of saunas.
Mm-hmm.
In 2004, the Mayo Clinic said, I'm not sure if they still say this, but in 2004 they said that the wooden infrared saunas and the hot tubs, they cautioned their heart patients not to use them or to use them gingerly, because when the outside temperature of the body goes up and the inside temperature does not, the heart has to race to maintain an equilibrium. So that's the drawback of the Finnish saunas and also the steam saunas and the hot tubs.
Mm-hmm.
But the far infrared saunas, according to the Mayo Clinic, was extremely therapeutic for the heart patients because the heart didn't have to race to find an equilibrium between the inside temperature of the body that was increasing. And because it was increasing, it could handle 10, 20, 30, 40 degrees on the outside without being stressed. Now, I'm having to educate many, many people who have infrared saunas. There's a difference between an infrared sauna and a Finnish sauna, and that's what the Mayo Clinic pointed out. But there's also a difference between an infrared sauna and a far infrared sauna. And so this is uncharted territory. Coming from the sun, you have every imaginable kind of energy. You have X-rays, you have gamma rays, radio waves, ultraviolet light. Now, we all know that we get suntan or sunburn from ultraviolet, and that we do not want to look at the sun because like when they have the eclipse,
Damages your eyes.
yes, because ultraviolet is not safe for the eyes if you look at it for a long, long time. And then there's visible light. It starts obviously with violet and indigo and blue and green and yellow and orange and red. And then that's visible to the human being. Now, dogs can hear sounds like they have dog whistles. Snakes is an example of an animal that can perceive and see far infrared light and far infrared light. They can see that. That's how they catch their prey at night. But each species has a limit of how they perceive through all the senses. If you've seen a toaster oven and that's like a neon orange kind of, that is actually near infrared.
Right.
And then the near infrared becomes invisible where we cannot see it. And then as the wavelengths get longer, there's something, the infrared spectrum is divided into near, close, which means near to visible light, and mid, which is a little bit further, and then far, which is even further than the mid and the near. And now far goes, they have a name for far. It goes from 4 to 14 microns is the loving light of the sun. And I'll explain why I call it the loving light of the sun. And after 14 microns, it goes all the way up to 1,000 microns. And then you have what is called microwave energy. And that's like,
That's defrosting your chicken.
yes, it's 100 times the wavelength is 100 times the length of the wavelength of the far infrared light. Now, I can say microns or nanometers. When they talk about red light and near infrared light, and they have lasers, they talk about red considered 660 nanometers. And near-infrared lasers have 850 nanometers and 910 nanometers or 880 nanometers. Most people, 99% probably, have no clue how to describe how long that is. But I have done a lot of research, and I discovered that the radius of a goat hair is the same length as the wavelength of our bodies, 17 microns.
Right.
Human hair is 50 microns.
Right.
So those are the kind of wavelengths you're talking about that we emanate, and water absorbs and emanates that wavelength, as do we.
And these wavelengths are what makes this relaxed sauna work.
Exactly. It took us 10 years of research, and we use a semiconductor chip computer technology to generate the exact wavelength that Dr. Yamaguchi in Japan talked about when he said the 7 to 14 micron frequency of far infrared light that will cause the water molecules in our bodies to vibrate.
And it's that vibration that creates the internal heat within our bodies, which then creates the cleansing and health benefits.
You got it.
Okay.
Exactly. For example, if you have 100 people in a small room dancing, that's the analogy between all the water molecules in your body vibrating. Your body's going to get hot.
And so it's quite a scientific exercise then, rather than just going into a room that's very hot. There's a lot of science behind this.
It's not the heat.
No.
The heat inside a sauna is almost irrelevant.
Right, because it's when you open the door to a conventional sauna, you walk it, the heat hits you straight away.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that with a relaxed sauna, you have to be in there for a while to feel anything.
Well, in the relaxed sauna is, again, in infrared saunas, there's infrared saunas, which is a mixture of near, mid, and far. Usually they take 10, 20, 30 minutes to preheat because they don't have the technology using semiconductor chips that the relaxed sauna has patented. And it took from 10 years, from 1987 to 1997, to create the technology that will actually generate the exact frequency we need to vibrate our water molecules.
We mustn't confuse a relaxed sauna with an infrared sauna then. They're different things.
Yes. For example, there's a lady, she has a $12,000 wooden infrared sauna, one of the best brands, in her house, in her clinic. And 6 months ago, she bought a relaxed sauna at a conference. And I ran into her a month ago, and she was raving. She said, as a matter of fact, some lady was walking by. She says, if you're going to get a sauna, this is the only one that's worth getting. And she herself has a $12,000 wooden sauna in her clinic. And once people in her clinic try the relaxed sauna, they never want to do the other sauna. They always want to go into the relaxed sauna. And she said to me that every single one of her clients would go in the relaxed sauna and with their clothes on, reach homeostasis in 6 minutes and wouldn't sweat.
Because you're creating that body warmth within your body.
Yes.
There is no need for your body to sweat. But you don't need either to get a towel, get in your swimming gear. You can use a relaxed sauna with your clothes on.
It would take about 8 minutes to sweat. So when you get in the relaxed sauna, let's say you're at a conference and you say, okay, I'll go in the relaxed sauna. And I tell you, I guarantee in 5 to 7 minutes, because of our technology, we will get rid of 50% to 100% of any stress or any pain that you have without sweating. And people look at me incredulously. Now, before I tell them that, a lot of times I'll tell people, when you go in the relaxed sauna, it's unlike any other sauna. If you've been in an infrared sauna, I don't care whether it's a $300 portable one or a $10,000, $5,000 wooden infrared sauna with all the bells and whistles, you still have no clue what it feels like to get in the relaxed sauna, because the relaxed sauna is 100% loving light. It's all far infrared ray. It's the same frequency as your body, so it's absorbed into the body, it penetrates it, and you do not resist it.
You're obviously someone who's been involved with this for a very long time, and you are very passionate about it.
I've been using it for 24 years, and I have put 150,000 people in the relaxed sauna. at about 500 conferences in the last 24 years. And if you could be a fly on the wall, listening to what people say when they get out of the relax sauna for 5 to 7 minutes, or they come back a year, 2, 3 years later, and they want to tell me how much they love the relax sauna, and I get I say, okay, get in the sauna, let's do a testimony. I have about 950 video testimonies of people raving about the relax sauna, and 300 of them say, I have been in many saunas, but the relaxed sauna is the only one where I feel like I'm being loved. I'm being hugged by my loving grandma.
Cool.
I'm enveloped by a warm blanket, a cocoon. I'm in the womb. I'm basking in divine love. Nor the sauna feels that way because it's the same frequency as you. Therefore, it's absorbed by you and it's considered loving or soft
Right.
light. We don't resist it.
Brilliant. But what are the downsides of the relaxed sauna? What should people be worried about if they think I'm going to use this?
You don't want to get dehydrated, so you want to make sure you drink water before you get in.
Right.
Sometimes, if you do it a lot, you can lose some electrolytes, so you want to, replace the electrolytes, but you don't have to be freaked out about it. It's just that, like, if you take a good trace light formula.
Right. Yeah, just like with every sauna,
Yeah.
a conventional sauna, infrared sauna, relaxed sauna, you are going to heat your body up. As a result of that, there will be some dehydration. You have to be aware that that is a potential risk. And spend the right amount of time in the sauna. Those sorts of things happen when you either haven't drunken anything beforehand or you've stayed in too long.
Yes, you're going to do sweating. When you do a lot of sweating, you can lose
Yeah.
the minerals. Another thing is people who get in the relaxed sauna who have high blood pressure are so happy because it always reduces blood pressure. Now, if you have extremely low blood pressure, then you want to do it gingerly.
Yep, I can see that. So depending upon what your aim is, either it's just the relaxation or you're doing it for some sort of treatment, then you need to manage your engagement with the relaxed sauna as you would anything else, and make sure that you've spoken to an expert who can put you together a program, I suppose, which means, yep, I know I need to be in here for 6 minutes, or I need to be in here for 10 minutes, or talk to the experts.
Yes. See, the reason other saunas don't feel so loving is because the near-infrared is not absorbed by the body.
Mm-hmm.
And we resist it because it's not the same energy that we are. And it does go in 1/16 of an inch, and it does help the skin. But again, the far infrared is vibrational, and it goes in 2 inches and then talks to the other cells. A lot of people, right now it's almost like a fad. Everyone's talking about red light. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I have, yes.
Usually, when you have a red light bed, they also throw in invisible near infrared frequencies. They're like lasers. They focus the frequency on 850 nanometers. 850 nanometers is 0.85 microns. Okay, so
Right.
the 7 to 14 microns is 7,000 to 14,000 nanometers. Just so people can sort of like get a handle on this. The near infrared is usually less than 1 or 2, and we are 9.4 and the water is 8. So it's not the same as our vibration. We can definitely sense it, so we resist it naturally, and that resistance causes stress. It goes in 1/16 of an inch, so it's good for the skin, and it's also good for energy and increasing the mitochondria.
Okay.
Now, what the relaxed sauna far infrared energy does that's different, it's more like meditational or vibrational. It's a honing in and a centering. So it like when I was telling you the 5 things that an infrared sauna does, the 4th thing was activating the parasympathetic nervous system. That gets you out of that flight and fight and gets you into rest and repair. And so when people get in the relaxed sauna, because it's 100% far infrared, 100% loving light, it sort of tunes you in, it grounds you, it gets you connected. And that's why people say this is the spiritual sauna. I've never experienced such a deep, profound sense of relaxation as I have in the Relax Sauna. They say, I don't understand it. I feel like I'm relaxed and yet I'm revitalized. See, when you meditate, you get to this place where all of a sudden you have a surge of energy because you've contacted zero, ground
Yeah.
zero, you know.
What do you think is the future for these non-traditional Finnish saunas? Do you see the market growing?
It's going to break this. You see, just like red light and near infrared have broken in the last couple years, the granddaddy of all the lights, the most therapeutic light by far, is far infrared ray, but people don't know it. And because people go in the Relax Sauna and they say, I feel like my grandma's giving me a loving hug, I've called it the grandmommy of all
Cool.
lights.
Cool. You make it sound very romantic and yeah, something that people should perhaps give a go. I certainly will be trying to find one. But today, Phillip, it's been really interesting. It's a very scientific product that you've got. And yeah, I'm fascinated, absolutely fascinated. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your time.
We've done a lot of research on it. We did some research in Taiwan, and we found that it gets lead out of pigs.
Gets
And
lead out of pigs.
the heavy metal lead, they did a study on that. Also, we sent the Relax Sauna and 2 other portable saunas to Harvard and MIT Health Science and Technology Lab. And the Relax Sauna was 350% and 450% more therapeutic in terms of the intensity and penetration of the other 2 saunas.
It's great to know. Thank you very much. It's been very interesting.
And it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed it. I am Michael Millward, the Managing Director of Abacida, and in this episode of Fit for My Age, I have been having a conversation with Phillip Wilson, who is the President of the Relax Sauna Company. You can find out more information about both of us by using the links in the description. At Fit for My Age, our aim is proactive, positive aging. Knowing the risks early is an important part of maintaining good health. That is why we recommend health assessments from York Test, especially the annual health test. Performed annually by an experienced phlebotomist who will complete a full blood draw at your home or workplace. The annual health test provides an assessment of 39 different health markers, including cholesterol levels, diabetes risk, various different vitamin levels, and organ functions. After hospital standard tests are carried out in a UKAS accredited and CQC compliant laboratory, you'll be able to access your easy to understand results and guidance to help you make effective lifestyle changes anytime via your secure personal Wellness Hub account. There is a link and a discount code in the description. I am sure you will have enjoyed listening to this episode of Fit for My Age as much as Phillip and I have enjoyed making it. Please give it a like and download it so you can listen anytime, anywhere. To make sure you don't miss out on future episodes, please subscribe. Remember, the aim of all the podcasts produced by Abacida is not to tell you what to think, but we do hope to have made you think. Until the next episode of Fit for My Age, thank you for listening, and goodbye.